Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 1 of Movie Busters. I am your host, Nate, and I am joined, well, as always, for other regular listeners, but for this show, for the first time, Brandon. Brandon,
Hilarious.
How's it going?
Hilarious. I'm fine. I feel like I'm on the Magic of Movies ride at MGM or Universal or something.
Back again for the first...
Good morning, Vietnam!
Yeah, that kind of cut a little bit. I wasn't happy with that.
I know, it jumped right in, but we'll
It
fix
did.
it next time. It's the first of many new shows.
It is. It is indeed.
Because, you know, we start new podcasts like going to the bathroom.
Apparently.
Daily.
You only go to the bathroom daily?
Poop. I was thinking of pooping. We shit podcasts, man. We're shitting podcasts.
We are. So anyway, this is Movie Busters. For those of you that are coming in and are familiar with our other shows, thanks for coming in and hanging out. Welcome. For those that are listening to this and hearing our voices for the first time, thanks for tuning in and welcome to the Inked Geek Studios family of fans and listeners. So Movie Busters is Brandon and I's idea of a movie podcast.
That's right.
It's going to be live on Twitch on Sunday nights at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to come in. We're going to bring you a little bit of movie news for the week and then talk about the movie of the week. Listener
background noise while I try to raise my mic.
Listener and guest participation is highly welcome. Occasionally you will hear and see friends of the network pop in, hang out with us. Sometimes it'll even be a movie that they recommend. So yeah, I mean, it's an idea. It's an episode 1. We're just going to kind of go with it and see how it goes.
Yeah, we're going to act like I have no audio. There we are. We're going to act like we've never podcasted before.
We're going to act like you have no audio. Well, that would be like we never podcasted before.
So he said, welcome to the family, right? Basically, we're the two dads, and we have all of these little podcasty children.
Right? That's weird.
But it's true. It's true.
Angle.
So Mythbusters, Movie Busters, Ghostbusters. There's something strange. Who are you gonna call? Not us.
Not us. No,
we're here for
we
movies.
We don't do it strange.
Ghosts. We don't do ghosts.
Although we might do that movie. I'm sure we'll have to at some
we will,
point.
because you know it's there's a past there, and Austin should be here when we do that movie.
Right. That won't be controversial at all.
No, it never is when Austin is here.
No, you know what we should do is we should tell him we're doing Ghostbusters, not tell him which Ghostbusters, and then do the new Ghostbusters.
Dude, we're doing the original. This movie's the original.
The original with women.
God, wouldn't he be fired?
Oh, he would be pissed. Anyway, this show is gonna naturally kind of transform itself as we go week to week. Like, there's gonna be added bumpers, things like that.
Yeah, this is a bare bones episode 1. I mean,
yeah.
What can you do?
I mean, we got the overlay and everything for those watching the video. A big thank you to Amy Frost for throwing that together for us.
Yeah, I think if we do a T-shirt for this, I want that T-shirt.
Right, and then a big thank you to Michael Dice Tomato Johnson for the logo proper. So we really like it, and we have some very talented friends that make our network look even better than it actually is. Anyway, so we are going to start with some movie news for the week. If you aren't listening, again, live or at an appropriate time, it is for the week of August 13th. So we're going to start off with Netflix. People might have been aware of the fact that Netflix has announced, or Netflix and Disney have announced that they're not going to be extending their contract going into 2018. We know that Disney is making a Disney Channel streaming service. They're going to have a Pixar standalone. There's going to be an ESPN streaming service that is going to be providing content outside of what's on their cable proper channels. So the question when that got announced before anything was answered was, okay, so what's going to happen to Star Wars? What's going to happen to Marvel proper? Actually, I was just talking to one of my friends about it the other day. Like, we have this original Marvel content. We have The Defenders, which just got announced. The date just got announced, and it's coming out in a week or two. So what's going to happen? So now we've figured out that Netflix and Disney are in talks to keep Star Wars and Marvel on, so Lucasfilm and Marvel Studios on Netflix.
Right. And I think that part of that was just a publicity grab because you have those shows on Netflix. I don't think they're going to rip Netflix originals away from Netflix despite them being Marvel properties.
Right. It wouldn't make any sense. And then as far as Star Wars,
it's just added hype before Defenders comes out.
Right. And Star Wars itself, wouldn't be able to. I mean, you're not going to put a Star Wars channel because there's not enough Star Wars content.
Not yet.
You can't mix it in with Disney because then it just gets convoluted with kids shows and Disney originals. And so there's really nowhere else that it belongs. So it makes sense to keep it on Netflix. And hopefully that means that, Disney has trusted Netflix to do original Marvel content through Netflix Studios. So hopefully that means that down the road we will see Disney have confidence in them to do original Star Wars content with Netflix Studios. And how cool would that be to get some original Star Wars programming episodically as opposed to just theatrically? That's
Outside
not cartoon.
of the animated
Right.
realm, yes.
Right.
I would love to see some live action lightsabers on a weekly basis, or the whole season at once if it's
Right.
going to be Netflix.
That would be really cool to see. So our next thing for the week, Wonder Woman has a home release date.
I actually saw that last night.
It is coming out digitally on August 29th. So those of us that are in, present time will have it early. Everyone that wants the physical copy, you will have to wait till September 19th. Now, there's always usually a little bit of a gap. It's never usually 3 weeks. Actually, is that even 4 weeks? No, it's 3 weeks. 3.5, somewhere in that ballpark. So, yeah, so there's a bit of a gap there. On top of that, now, I looked up all the details for the sake of having this discussion point for the show tonight. I have not bought a physical movie in a while. Is this really the price they are now? The Ultra HD, the 4K version, is $45.
My God.
The Blu-ray 3D combo is $45.
Wow.
The standard Blu-ray combo is $35.99. And even just the standard DVD, like old school, like early aughts version of the movie, is $29. That's ridiculous. Why would you not spend $19.99 and own it digitally?
I don't know. I've given up on physical media altogether at this point. My movie collection that is physical is dwindling as I trade them in and lend them out and don't ask for them back.
Right. Now,
So, yeah, everything. I mean, I bought King Arthur digitally. That's the last movie I bought.
right.
Tomorrow I'll be picking up Guardians.
Guardians is out.
I know.
Oh, okay. All right.
Tomorrow I'll get it.
Cool. Yeah, I just got it today, but I didn't watch it because I watched the movie for tonight's show at work today.
That you did.
So I will be watching Guardians probably throughout the week. I've already seen it once. Went and saw it in the theater with Lizzie. It was good. I enjoyed it. So our last little tidbit, and this is going to be a normal weekly thing for this podcast, just the top 5 box office results. So these come from boxofficemojo.com. And our top 5 for the week, not top 5 total of what's out there. But so we got Annabelle Creation is in the number 1 slot, $35 million for the week. It is its opening week, so it comes into opening week with the top slot. We talked to Deezus about it on Mind of a Geek on Friday night, said it was good. Mm-hmm. So apparently the numbers back it up, and that has
There's also not a lot else in the theater right now that I would go see.
So Annabelle came out with a $15 million budget. It's already made 35, so I'm betting we can see more of the Conjuring and Conjuring spin-off movies. Mm-hmm. In second is Dunkirk, $11.4 million for the week, $153.7 million total.
I'm excited to see that. I hear it's mostly a visual movie, not a lot of dialogue.
Right, and it's World War II based, correct?
It's about Dunkirk, yes.
Okay. Number 3 is The Nut Job 2, Nutty by Nature, also in its opening week, $8.9 million total. So I'm not familiar with how good the first one did, so I guess we'll just kind of see.
Yes. I don't have any kids.
In the 4th spot, we have The Dark Tower, which this week fell. It's now at $7.8 million for a total of $34.3.
Fuck that movie.
I think that's all we need to say about that. And rounding it out with the 5th spot is the Emoji Movie, which is that it only made $1 million less than Dark Tower. Mm-hmm. $6.6 million with a total of $63.5 million.
With a big old poop emoji on both.
I am amazed that movie has made that much money.
Well, we're living in idiocracy, man.
Right.
So,
I hear people cry. It's just that bad. Anyway,
don't say goodbye to Hugo, chat room. He'll just be back.
That is it for your new movie news of the week. So now let's get into our movie of the week. You are more familiar with this movie than myself, as I believe my watching of it today was only my second time seeing it, and the first time was like when it came out. So do you want to introduce the movie?
So, a 1999 release, Kevin Spacey, Thor Birch, others, American Beauty. American Beauty falls into the realm of movies that define my character as a teenager. along with Clerks, your Tarantino films, things like that. I enjoyed it. It's burned into my mind. I didn't need to watch it. Nate watched it tonight. So I'm excited to hear Nate's take on the movie, and we'll go tit for tat with that to start. So, do tell, sir.
All right. So I'm a big Kevin Spacey fan. I love House of Cards. I liked K-Pax and other things that he's been in, but my mind's going blank.
We saw K-Pax on my 17th birthday.
We did?
Mm-hmm.
Christ, was that long ago?
Mm-hmm.
Damn. We're old. So anyway, so Kevin Spacey's great. I like his delivery. I like his form of acting. So I went into the movie, and again, I had seen it before. I knew kind of what it was about. He's a middle-aged man. He develops a thing for his daughter's friend, and hilarity ensues. But so again, going into it, I like the narration. I like how he's. I don't know. It's almost like it's his afterthought because obviously he knows he's gonna die. So he's talking to you as the viewer and in the back and forth narration. Again, I remembered bits and pieces because I saw it a while back, but I wasn't really sure what to expect from it. The clearest memories for me were the first time that he sees the daughter's friend at the cheerleader, at the basketball game cheerleading, and then like the scene in the bathtub. Like those were the most visually...
Yeah, it's the parts that were in the advertising that really stuck out.
Right. But no, I liked it. I really enjoyed the character. I really enjoyed the development of all the different characters, going from the daughter to the reveal of the best friend. And I'm going to totally mind blank on names right now.
Mina Suvari.
No. I meant character names. And
Jane.
The boyfriend. Who's the boyfriend?
Jimmy Fitz.
Jimmy Fitz. Thank you. I want to say Ryan. He looks like Ryan. And the development of his character being introduced as like this kind of weirdo that's just kind of recording, and then you get the character development. With a lot of movies we see modern time and these days, you don't get a lot of sub character development. You get the development of the main characters, and that's it. And they were all kind of quasi main characters, but I like that everybody had a story to tell. And so you had the story of him, the wife. You had the creepy camera kid, as well as his closeted father. Then you had the daughter, the daughter's friend. You had the king. Like, you had all these different stories and character arcs that came together. And I don't think you see many movies, whether it was then or now, that try and balance so many character arcs, but then execute it flawlessly.
Right. So American Beauty, the title of the movie is based upon the rose. You saw the roses in the movies.
Right.
So those roses, they tend to rot from the roots up, from the inside. So the idea of the movie is that you look closer. And the whole theme throughout the movie is that everybody's lives on the outside seem great. So as a teenager, I really identified with that because it's just an image for teen angst.
Right.
Now, it's written by Alan Ball, who gave us True Blood. Did you ever watch True Blood?
I did.
So, same guy. So you can see where the twisted sense comes from, right?
Right.
Now, it's a retrospective, so he's dead in the beginning, and he's telling us this story from beyond the grave. Now, for me, I really identify with Spacey's character, because as my life has gone on, the scene in the van that I told you to grab, where he talks about being sedate and trying to get it back, that's how I feel. Like, life as an adult has just become so humdrum. Now, you talk about the characters and how... Oh, Scott Bakula, too. You get Sam Beckett from Quantum Leap as one of the Jims.
Yeah,
that's always good. But all the characters, right? They all seem so great, right? You look at Thora Birch and Mina Suvari as the two teenage girls, and you can watch the movie, and as it goes on, as Mina Suvari realizes that she's kind of a super shitty person, she wears more makeup because she realizes that she's ugly on the inside and tries to compensate for that on the outside. Whereas Thora Birch, with Jimmy, realizes that, oh, well, her life, her as a person, she's finding her inner beauty with him. So less makeup for her. It's just these underlying themes through the movie. You talked about the closeted father. What a douchebag. I mean, it's not his fault that he's so tightly wound and such a stereotypical military man, right? And, he has no idea how to identify with his son because his son is just juxtaposed to him. So in the end of the movie, when he ends up in the garage, he's trying to identify with his son's mindset because he doesn't realize that he's not actually gay. and he just has no idea. So, filled with homosexual panic, he makes a lot of uncomfortable decisions. And then coming back to Kevin Spacey, I don't know. Everything about his arc in the movie I loved. I mean, refinding who he was as a person.
I could just sit here and listen to you talk about this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about Kevin Spacey for a minute.
Sure.
Give me something. Give me something to build off.
Something to build off. Okay, so
let's talk about his love for Mina Suvari.
I don't know if I'd say love. Infatuation.
Infatuation.
Lust.
Infatuation is the word, I think.
And I think that you brought up a good point where you talked, like you related it to our life now, or just that adult approaching middle-aged life, and let me be just sedate, let me just like fuck it. You know what I mean? So I think that
to that point, I think I don't know how you feel, but when you and I were hanging out at 16, I don't want to say that we peaked as teenagers, but God, wasn't life just sweeter and all the experiences more vivid?
It was that, I think, combined with the fact that nothing mattered.
Right.
There was no
consequence.
Right.
So take last summer, right? We had all this started again, but we were taking walks and all of that.
Right.
And, maybe subconsciously trying to recapture those moments from way back then.
Right.
But everything is just so frayed at the edges now and dull. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just not the same. But you have those memories that you always go back to. Like he said in the movie, when they're in Jimmy's room. And he's like, yeah, I flip burgers all year just to buy whatever. And it was great. All I did was party and fuck.
Yeah.
And now all I do is deliver milk and sleep. And I have my one... coming here and doing this is one of the few things that's entertaining in life.
Right.
Don't I sound depressed? But, yeah. And it's true for everybody in the movie. Look at the wife. She... Well, we could go real deep in my life with the wife.
Right. Well, they all kind of escape in their own way. Which we'll get to, but focusing Kevin Spacey, I think it ties into that. So I think you obviously had him just wanting to let go. So you almost, as he was beginning to unwind and as he got what eventually was his death, you got him to a point where he almost got younger as the movie went on. And what I mean by that is, so you had him quit his job, which was hilarious, and I have a clip of. Mm-hmm. So he's flipping burgers again. He's
the least amount of responsibility
right.
possible.
He's got the quote unquote old ball and chain, which I'm sure would be fine if she paid attention to him, which is a whole other story arc.
Right. If she wasn't so obsessed with image and things looking a certain way and worrying about being judged and status and all of the things that you get caught up in life that you just should not. I can't stand it.
Was this movie written about you?
Oh, man.
But there's a fortune teller who wrote this movie, I swear.
It's just art imitating life, imitating art.
Right. So anyway, so he he goes back to smoking weed, and then he's attracted to the high school girl and everything else. So it's his way of, I think, just trying to recapture that and having that midlife crisis, which, again, ultimately leads to his demise.
Right, but he ends up coming out of it satisfied with his life. And he's happy when he dies. Even when he has the epiphany about Mina Suvari and realizes and sees her for the first time as the young girl that she is. Right. And not just the object of his affection. Right. Even then, that's a freeing moment for him. Right before he dies.
Right before he dies. Right. It's, again, his character was very... It's the word I want to look for here. It was, very telling in a way. Everything was... He went from being closed up and I don't know, it's funny because you brought up that line about sedate, and I'm going to go back to that again. It was almost in a way, he already was kind of sedate because he was just rolling with the motion. He was just ignoring everything. He was dealing with it. He was putting on the facade. And he almost got sick of being sedate.
Sick of being sick.
Yeah, and said, okay, I'm going to do something about this now.
Right. And that is the line in the movie that I most identify with, even now. I wish that I could find my way like he did. I don't want to be shot in the head, But take the podcasting, for example. Like, I've had the last 2 days off. I've done nothing to help with the setup of this. I always could, but I never do. I just can't find my way when I'm alone at home. I'm just lethargic and depressed. I'm going to go get some Xanax. I'll be back.
All right, so we focused a lot on Spacey. Obviously, he's the big draw. He's the big focal point, but there's all these other characters around him. So we talked briefly about the wife, Annette Bening. Yeah. So I thought the chemistry with Spacey I thought was great. And I thought that some of the most memorable moments in the movie was between those two, like when they're at the function where she first meets the king.
Yeah.
That was really good. The scene where she tries to sell the house and just completely fails, that was really
breakdown.
good. Yeah.
The scene where she's at dinner and he says, "Hey, I'm Lester. You've met me before, but you won't remember me."
Right.
That's another line I identify with. I've always thought of myself as the world is black and white, right? And I'm just destined to fall into the cracks of the gray. Just not be a memorable person. You've met me. I'm here every week, but who am I really?
Sometimes not being memorable is good.
I know I pride myself on it.
I have so many identifying marks.
That's true.
It's very difficult sometimes.
You have the 7 dirty words on your leg.
I do.
A lot of those scenes with Annette Bening and Thora Birch were improvised by Kevin Spacey. So while those are both great actresses, a lot of that hinges on the fact that he acted outside of the realm of what he was directed to do. The scene at the dinner table with the asparagus where he threw it against the wall was not supposed to throw it against the wall, but he did it to get a genuine reaction out of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So a lot of that stuff, the scene in the car where he's singing with American Woman, improvised. So a lot of that, like, the character transcending the film is from him. You really get a sense of, like, the youth coming back up, the vitality springing forth from that character because of the things that he did with it. Great guy, great actor. Let's go watch K-Pax.
All right. I liked that scene quite a bit. I loved that, like, he just threw it and just didn't say anything. Sat down, I was like, "Don't interrupt me."
Don't interrupt me, honey.
But so it's interesting again when you see all the characters grow separately, but in a way grow together. I really wish, and again, I was saying that this movie nailed it when it came to executing so many character arcs at the same time. I really wish that we had also got some character development with the gyms, because you had.
Well, I'll tell you.
Just said his goddamn name.
Scott Bakula?
Bakula.
Yeah.
You had Bakula, and who was the other actor?
I don't know who the other Jim is.
Yeah, he wasn't a name like
Even
Bakula.
in my mind's eye right now, I can't see him.
Yeah.
I can only see Sam Beckett, and I want Twiggy to show up.
He almost looked like a younger, less British version of who's that actor?
I don't know, man.
Who was in Wild Wild West with Will Smith?
I don't know. I never saw that shit.
Corey would know. No, not Sam Robot. No, who played. You'll type it and I'll be like, oh yeah, that's his name. But if someone can yeah, whoever was the second lead, Kevin Kline.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Do you see it?
Yeah, and it makes sense, I guess, because Kevin Kline was in and Out. Let's just bring all the movie screen.
Well, no,
together.
It wasn't him.
No, I know,
but it looked like a younger version
if
of
you're
him.
Imitating somebody that was gay in a movie.
He was saying Sam Robards was the other Jim.
Oh, okay.
See, this is why I told
There's
Corey
a guy I've never heard of.
He should be on this show with us, because he would be a lot of fun.
He would make us look stupid.
He would make us look ridiculously stupid.
Well, I'll tell you what. With the Jims, having that we were both raised by lesbians.
Yeah.
In my life,
you say that like we were raised by wolves. We were raised by lesbians.
I didn't know how far you wanted me to go. So in my life, the only real structure I've seen with any couples has been from the gay couples in my life. All of the straight couples have been like this movie, full of discord, trashiness,
we use
divorce. Discord. Yes, that's true. We do. But all the stability I've seen has come from my mother's and your mother's. Like they're the only couples that have been together this whole time that I know of. Everybody else has been divorced, married, divorced, married. Men and women, they just can't get along. I don't know. So I'm fine with the Jims not getting a bigger backstory. I mean, how many? They're supporting characters, and those two families, those two neighbors, are really where we're focusing. I think the mother, Jimmy's mother, that was just driven into herself and left to be the slave of the father. I think she got the shit end of the deal. She got no justification in that movie. The kids run off at the end. Lester dies happy. The mother gets some sort of closure and an opportunity to start her life over without Lester. And the mother just gets left there with the father who's about to have a mental breakdown, a bigger mental
Just
breakdown.
murdered somebody.
Now, there is a deleted scene from the end of the movie where those kids end up on trial. Jimmy and Thora Birch, Jane.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I like it more open-ended at the end. You don't need that kind of closure with this movie to know what happened. You just need to know that Lester dies with a satisfied mind.
You know, I almost now you get what you get, right? But I almost think. So that being said, so we talk about, and we talk about it on All Geeked Up. We've talked about it on Mind of a Geek, where in many ways, with some things, less is more. The most recent time that it came up was when we were talking about Star Wars and the order to watch Star Wars, and I was saying that, you know, watch them 1 through 7, but cut the tail end off of 3 so it doesn't spoil who Vader is, right? So I think that this movie, I'm wondering now. Again, watching it from this point, it would be difficult probably to imagine it. But, so, you see Lester get shot. You see Jimmy find him. You see the smile on his face.
Mm-hmm.
And Jimmy, I turned his head and smiled.
He does find beauty.
He does.
In all things.
He does indeed.
Which, by the way, the plastic bag, Alan Ball was at the World Trade Center having lunch at a cafe. And he saw a plastic bag blowing in the wind, and that was his inspiration for that.
Oh, really?
IMDb trivia, bitch.
It was a cool scene.
Yeah.
But
I
really,
mean, you know, unless you're like a realist type of person, and you're like, well, what the fuck? It's just trash in the wind. But
well, no, but there is an element of beauty to that.
I agree with you.
The way it's swayed.
But you and I are in the same mindset here.
Right. Raised by lesbians.
Yeah.
Raised by lesbian wolves. No, but what I was going to say is what if, so we see Jimmy seeing Lester, what if we cut it there? What if we never know who pulled the trigger? What if we don't know if it was his wife or if it was Jimmy's father? Because it was obviously one of the two.
Right.
But as far as, like, if you, I don't know if you either had to be paying attention more or maybe paying attention less, but the director and the writing, it almost makes you think that his father had closure. He tried to kiss him. He got pushed away and he walked away in the rain. And we don't really see him again. So it's almost as though that character had closure. So up to that point, the only character we didn't have closure from was the wife. So, like, again, now I had mentioned I saw, like, there were certain scenes that I had remembered, like I mentioned. And then as I watched it, there were scenes that came back to me. Like, the reason that he thinks that his son is gay is because of the video where Kevin Spacey was doing curls naked. Like, there, like, certain little things like that. I remembered moments. But I didn't remember the movie, so I certainly didn't remember the end. And I thought for sure it was the wife that killed him. And then it comes to find out that you see, like, they show, like, what everyone was doing when they heard the gunshot.
Mm-hmm.
And then they show her walking in the rain. See, I think if they didn't show that, and they didn't show his father going in blood, and they just left it open-ended of, okay,
you just want brains on the wall.
Yeah.
And then Jimmy smiling.
And that's it. And it almost would have been, it like, at that point, because then it gives you the option, because now at this point, you say that there was that deleted scene where they were in court, but you know what's going to happen. Like, he's going to get caught, he's going to get arrested, he's going to go to jail. Like, there is no mystery there. So I think there would have been a mystery. Like, one of my favorite movie endings of all time was Inception, where you never know if the top's going to stop or not. Yeah. So you're given A or B.
Right.
If they cut that off and didn't reveal it, you're given your A or B.
Right.
And then I think you would have had some really awesome fan theories being written up.
Who directed this? Was it Sam Mendes?
My guess is Corey will probably tell us in the chat faster than you'll find it.
Yeah, because he has a keyboard and I have a phone.
Well, no, because he probably knows.
Shut up.
There, see?
It was Sam Mendes, fucker. Fucking A, man. Anyway, I think he made a good choice with the way it ended, because you don't need... who did it and the consequences of that aren't the point.
Right.
But knowing lets you see the wife get redeemed, because she goes into the closet, hugs all his clothes, throws the gun in the hamper, and realizes that, oh, I have made a mistake, and here is my clarity. Everybody gets clarity in the end. I don't think the father of Jimmy gets clarity. he gets closure because he kills that motherfucker that fucked his son and fucked his son up, whatever, and made him have all that homosexual panic and everything else. But in facing the darkness, right, he does get some kind of closure. It ends with blood on the wall, but he gets it.
Right.
But everybody else gets to have their prototypical happy ending. How happy is the ending for everybody? It varies, but everybody gets that, you know? So I like the way that it ended. I don't need a trial. I'm glad that wasn't in the movie.
Right. Yeah, there's enough of that in enough movies.
Right.
Do we want to get into some clips?
Let's play some clips.
All right.
Because the clips are going to have a lot of the parts that weren't necessarily meaningful, but fun to watch.
Right. Okay, so the way that I did clips is I caught them literally right before we went live. So it's essentially just going to be, it's one big file that I'm going to start and stop to give you a little bit of, behind the scenes here.
That'll be more polished as we
This
go.
point going forward, yeah, they'll be cut out, there'll be bumpers, but right now it's just an audio file that I am pausing and playing. So they go chronologically with where they appeared in the movie, except for the one at the tail end that Brandon asked me to grab. So I figure we'll play one, we'll talk about it, play one, talk about it. Kind of go from there. Does that work for you?
It works.
All right, cool. I also don't know where their volume is at, so let's give it a shot.
I need a father who's a role model. Not some horny geek boy who's gonna spray his shorts whenever I bring a girlfriend home from school.
All right.
Thora Birch was just 17 when she did this movie. So,
How did they show her naked then?
Well, they had whatever committee it is in Hollywood that goes there for the protection of children and her parents on set.
Oh yeah, that's kind of the thing, right?
Yeah, so they gave permission.
Right. I didn't know that.
So I'm justified in my pedophilia here. I like Thora Birch, always have. I wish she was in The Craft, but she wasn't old enough, I imagine.
Probably not.
She was in Hocus Pocus instead.
Yeah.
I like Hocus Pocus. What am I? I don't even know what I'm talking about. Anyway.
So that was the first thing we heard in the movie. That was the first line of the movie. So it kind of led into it, the teen angst. But we get more into that line towards the end of the movie. So we get a little bit more. But I liked it. Now again, I didn't remember most of the movie. I didn't realize we got that again. So I just clipped that small bit from the beginning. So
to reference the chat and Captain Temerity, Corey, I love that movie. Ghost World, excellent film.
I've never seen that either.
Lucky you, then, sir.
Next clip. Maybe. Somewhere. Again.
Look at me. Jerking off in the shower. This will be the high point of my day. It's all downhill from here.
Well, I can tell you that jerking off in the shower doesn't work for me because water is not good lubrication.
No, but I had to capture that clip.
No, it's great. I understand that. I mean, I understand what he's saying, but that's not the place to do it, if you ask me. Easy cleanup, I suppose. Thoughts? You don't jerk off in the shower either.
No.
There you go. It's unrealistic.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't think that's the point here. No, it starts off with sending the message that this, because again, that's very, very early in the movie. I think that was like 3 minutes in. It starts off sending that message that this is a man who he needs to live within his own fantasy, because right now reality is just not doing it anymore.
No, his own reality is that of jerking off in the shower and just going through the motions of the day.
Right.
Man, it's no fun to live a life where the people surrounding you don't understand or care to understand the type of person you are.
Right.
And conditioner. I hear you. Doesn't burn in the tip there. We all know. Don't lie. Don't act like you don't know. Soap.
Thing down there, sycamore.
There, sycamore? Come on, a substantial portion of the root structure was on our property. You know that. How can you call it their sycamore? I wouldn't have the heart to just cut down something if it wasn't partially mine, which of course it was.
Now this is the kind of needling argument that it's open-ended and there's no way to win, and you just listen to this person peck at you and peck at you and peck at you. Just,
right.
Yeah. Just
Now-
the worst kind of person.
Now, one thing you don't get from that clip, because it was visual, is as she's finishing that rant and the volume fades, he just sits there and looks at the camera very knowingly. Like, see, this is the shit that I deal with.
Some of that fourth wall breaking.
Right.
But no, it's true. I mean, how can you deal with a person like that? I just don't know.
It's not fun.
It's ages you, man. Like those, I get it in the movie. She's become one thing and he's become another and whatever. But, ugh.
I think that says it right there.
Oh.
Shut up! Stop it, you weed, you baby! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
All right, so that was her breakdown scene that we talked about.
Yes, and more to my point.
Just
like,
more sobbing there.
She's afraid to feel. I mean, Jesus Christ, open yourself up to your emotions.
Yeah,
Don't bottle that shit in. It gives you a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
I'm a tumor. I'm a tumor.
But yeah, no. Again, it's their age. It's the keeping, like you said, keeping it all confined, and then it ultimately. I mean, yeah, like you said, I don't know about the tumor part, but no, it eats you up inside. I mean, it turns you into a tumor essentially. Like you just fuck up everything around you.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was great acting by her. She, again, along with all the other actors and actresses in the movie, she embodied the role very well, and she made the character very believable.
Right. So Corey in the chat says that's the point of being unfulfilled, is you focus so much on the stuff that doesn't matter because you don't have anything that truly matters to you anymore. I would say that petty arguments like that are partially to blame for those reasons, and then some people just don't have any imagination and are not considerate enough to take the people around them into consideration. Therefore, they just live this stagnant life where things like that don't matter become the focal point of their existence. Thoughts?
Well said.
Oh, I don't know about that. I'm better at writing than I am at speaking, but go ahead.
On to the next one.
So what are you girls doing now?
Dad, we're going out for pizza.
Oh, really? Do you need a ride? We can give you a ride. I have a car. You want to come with us?
Thanks, but I have a car.
Well, you have a car. Oh, well, that's great. That's...
Typical creepy dad. So I've been watching Shameless. Have you ever seen that?
No.
Oh, man. It's an excellent show. William H. Macy is great, but he's living with his son's pseudo-girlfriend's mother. And for whatever reason, the daughter is kind of trying to get him out of the house by, like, hitting on him.
Right.
So he goes into the bathroom in one scene, and he's pissing, and he farts, and she opens the shower door, and she's in the tub, and her boobs are out. And he's just trying to get out of there as quick as he can, but at the same time, he can't not look. Dirty fathers. It's ridiculous.
Well, see, and it's funny because I clipped that because I didn't get Dirty Father from that. What I got from that was Nervous Teen Boy. Because, again, I think that was where we started to see him fall back into, as I said, as the movie went on, he almost de-aged in his personality.
That's a good insight, but I would argue that we're all, as men, teenage boys on the inside. So regardless of the age, father or not, that's something that deep down you might think, you might not. I'm not a father, and I hope that I'm not going to be a weird, creepy father when I am a father if I have a daughter, but as it stands right now, like those creepy thoughts, I think are inherent.
What do you think would be worse? So I have 2 sons and a daughter.
You do.
What do you think would be worse? Having the daughter bring home friends or having the son bring home girlfriends?
The daughter bringing home friends, because if the son brings home girlfriends, he's going to try to get them in his bedroom away from the parents, and be focused on a certain thing, right? Their attention's going to be taken up. Whereas if you have a daughter and she brings home Amina Suvari, who is there to like stir things up, and she gets an inkling that she caught you looking or something like that.
Right.
Oh, well, she's going to have fun because games,
Right.
And yeah, so the chat room, take the small stuff out of the equation. Don't argue about dishes, garbage, cat boxes. I agree. My boss at my job, when I bitch about my relationship and fighting and just things in general, he always gives me the Princess Bride line, as you wish. Don't stress it, man. As you wish. Whatever. That only goes so far. But it's a good mantra.
Every Thursday night, Red Lobster. And every guy there would stare at me when I walked in. And I knew what they were thinking. Just like I knew guys at school thought about me when they jerked off. Vomit. No, I liked it.
I thought that was one of the more transparent scenes in the movie. It's just so obvious that she's just trying to get attention, and it's such bullshit.
Right.
But at the same time, dudes think like that, so, you know.
No, it's true.
At least it's a knowing lie.
Now, I don't think there are any other clips that allow us to lead into it, so now wouldn't be a bad time to talk about it. So obviously, as we get to the end, we talked about it before we started playing clips where, you know, Kevin Spacey or Lester and it began with an A, but they're having that moment, right? And she's kind of like the curtain is pulled back, and it's like, you know, she says it's her first time. Like, he doesn't see her as the object, but he sees her as this innocent young girl. Like, she has this role that she's playing, this act, this persona she's putting on like everybody else in the movie, but come to find out that it's all an act just for attention. So
I think that's true with a lot of teens and people in general. They swing so far to the left and try to act like they're hard and experienced when really they're just naive, and she just did not want to admit that she was just this inexperienced young kid.
right.
Until all the layers were peeled back, kind of like the roses falling, you know?
Right. And there were several examples of that in the movie. Like, there was the time where she talked about the photographer and, like, he pulled his dick out and it was huge, and how could she not have sex with it and things like that. So, and I think it was written well and certainly acted well by her to where it's not like they were making it obvious. You know what I mean? Like, when you're older and you watch that, like, you very clearly see it's a girl clamoring for attention.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like it was like, it wasn't like parodied. I don't know if that's the right word, but you know what I mean, though. It wasn't done as something to where it was obviously an act. Like, you made her think that, like, they were leading everyone to believe that she was this character.
Right. So
And
it wasn't a satire of a
satire.
character like
Yeah, there we go. But no, again, kind of like with Space Everybody Else, as you know, I think the rose petals was good. It's like they kind of fall away.
Right.
As
I mean,
the movie
there's, you know,
goes.
obviously there's foreshadowing with the rose petals in the movie. Like, you're getting a lot of movies and books do that anyway through foreshadowing. You get the end of the story throughout the story. You know where it's going to go if you can read between the lines a little bit. You know what the clip we didn't pull was, I don't think you pulled it, was where he was jerking off in the bedroom and she catches him.
Oh, no, I got
You
it.
did? All right.
Oh, of course I did.
Okay.
There was masturbation involved.
Hello? Why'd you call me? I didn't. Well, my phone just rang and I answered it and somebody hung up and I started 69 and I called you back.
Well, I was in the shower.
All right.
Oh, the days of Star 69.
That's exactly why I grabbed that clip.
I totally forgot about that scene. And yeah, all I'm taking away from that is Star 69.
Right. That's the only reason I grabbed the clip, because I was like, holy shit. No
Yeah.
caller ID. No, because that was my thought. Like,
Yeah.
you know, because it's 2017. So my thought was, oh, caller ID. Like, why would you do that with caller ID? But
Yeah.
obviously.
Oh, how the world has changed since 1999. Although I think I can remember in high school when it came to calling girls and having that thing going on. If you didn't want them to know, it was like
Star 67.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Raul, my friend, you know Raul. He used to go and call from the payphone at Shaw's. You know where my house was, and you know where Shaw's was. Yeah, nobody else does. Doesn't matter. But we'd walk over there, and he'd put quarters in and start calling girls. I don't even know how he got their numbers, but because he damn sure wasn't talking to them.
Right.
But yeah, we'd call. Oh, I'm nervous. Here you go.
He'd find them.
I don't want to talk to them. I don't care.
He'd find them in bathrooms.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, middle school. Good times.
What are you guys selling?
Nothing. We just wanted to say hi to our new neighbors.
Yeah. But you said you're partners, so what's your business?
Well, he is a tax attorney, And he's an anesthesiologist.
Now, again, another scene where there was such a visual cue. There was a visual cue there by it's Chris
Cooper.
Cooper, yeah, and he just has this look on his face like, what?
Yeah.
Like this doesn't click.
I think the parallels to that scene and those things in that movie are perfect for today's world and what we're dealing with. I know you don't want to talk about politics, so we won't. But as an overarching thing, like, you get so far and then it seems like we have to take a couple steps back. And
Right.
like a wave, the people that Chris Cooper portrays in that movie have come back.
Right.
Like a tide. And in the next presidency or whatever happens, it'll go back. And I don't want to say that, I don't want to use the word nihilistic, but the direction we should be going in will come back again. And, some more free thinking will happen. People as a whole will somehow become afraid and need their guns and their racism, and it'll change and back and forth it'll go forever. But what a forward-thinking scene. I mean, that's life as I know it, so I can't imagine watching that movie from like Chris Cooper's perspective.
I just had a thought.
Can you imagine seeing that movie and being one of those right-wing Republican motherfuckers like that guy?
Well, yeah, they'd be there like rooting for him.
Right. Well, what a weird, I can't even wrap my head around that.
No, I know. It's because we're not those people. I won't say anything insulting, but it's because we're not those people. But no, so just really quick, it's still movie related, just not this movie related. So you were talking about how we're always in that cycle of repetition. It goes in stages, right? So you've got, your high tide, your low tide. You've got your open, like, love all, like, very liberal, and then that kind of flows out, and then you've got your conservative, conservative, right? But I was looking for anyway, whatever. So then the time of being conservative flows in and then goes back, and it's this constant. You know what it makes me think of, and I don't know if I'm just grasping at straws here, but the scene in Doctor Strange where he's stuck in the time loop. Mm-hmm. And he's just destined to repeat it forever. Mm-hmm. And as a society, it almost just seems like, I mean, a swing, anything where like you get to the point, and then, if you're swinging on a swing set, you go back and forth really fast, and then it starts to rock, and you get a little bit scared, so you slow it down, and then you forget, and then you kind of pick it back up again,
right? And
it's just this constant, steady flow of back and forth, left and right.
Right. And I'm far from the smartest person in the room. It's just, it boggles my mind that people are overbearing enough to concern themselves with what other people do with their lives. If you're only alive once, you should be free to live it how you want to live it. But again, like you say, it goes back and forth, right? So look at Rome. We're basically where Rome was. We're coming up on that point where everything is, do whatever you want, right? And then it falls. So, I don't know. Is it just more foreshadowing? Is America doomed to fail as we go further toward a free, liberal ideology? I don't know. I don't care because I don't concern myself with other people's lives.
Right.
I'm not one to judge, and I don't have any judgment. Do whatever you want. I'm fine with it. I'll do whatever I want.
I think we are overdue for an episode of Singcast.
Yeah.
Is what I think.
Yeah. Well, it's just, I don't get it, man.
Next clip.
So are you. You've only been in 17 once, and you look fat, so stop acting like you're goddamn Chrissy Turlington. Cunt!
Again, anyone that knows me knows I love that word. That's why I grabbed the clip.
I was never a high school girl. I get where she's coming from, but I don't care. Bloviate all you want about yourself. I don't give a fuck. It's not going to piss me off.
Yeah, I mean, that, again, there was nothing special about that line. It was high school girls. It was the cat fight. It was the back and forth bantering. Mm-hmm. Again, I like the shout out of cunt at the end. Cunt!
Cunt! That's our new podcast. Cunt!
See you next Tuesday. It needs to be done on Tuesday nights.
Yes.
What a freak.
I'm just going to keep going. There's not much to talk about there. Again, she had a lot of little mini one-liners that I found entertaining the way she delivered them.
So it's kind of an insight just to watch.
All right. Hi, Shirley. Listen, just do me a favor. Act happy tonight.
I am happy, honey.
Oh.
Now, I've been married. You haven't been married, but you...
I'm Commonwealth.
Right.
I've been
How many
Commonwealth.
times have you been told to just be happy? Just act happy.
Do you want to be happy or do you want to be right?
Right.
So those two clips, the two previous clips,
Right.
are good insights to like adult life and high school life. Now, I don't know about the people listening and their high school, but I would say that our high school was very cliquey.
Yeah, I think that's just high school.
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard different stories from different people depending on the region. Like Florida, Raul, not cliquey, friends with everybody. I was not friends with everybody. I don't know about you. Well, I do, but yeah. So anyway, like just watching the few interactions at school between Jimmy and Thora Birch and Mina Suvari, Jane and her friend, I can't remember her name. But like you get a real good insight as to like all the different social classes in that school. And it's again another relatable theme throughout the movie. I think this movie works because despite your age, it's got something for everybody. Angela, thank you.
It does, and it's also timeless. Like everything that's talked about and addressed, again, almost back to the back and forth, everything that's talked about and addressed in this movie is very much timeless. There are things that you're always going to have the girls that are trying too hard, or the girls that don't give themselves enough credit, or the awkward boy or awkward girl. You know, you've got your conservative, right-wing, gun-loving homophobe. You know, you've got you've got the try-hard middle-aged woman. You've got the scared of getting older middle-aged dad. Like, you've got so many different elements, you know, that none of it is gonna be aged out. All the characters,
No, all the tropes are gonna be there forever.
yeah, all the characters that are in this movie are their character archetypes that aren't going away anytime soon within our culture. So I think that's another reason why you can watch this movie now, or you could watch it. I mean, in 2 years, this movie will have come out 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like it.
No, but you're right in that I can watch it as a teenager and it can speak to the angst, and I can watch it as an adult and it can speak to the morose, humdrum existence that you end up with.
Right. The only thing that dated this movie for me,
Star 6ix9ine.
well, okay, so the two things that, well, yeah, so I mean, that's still the umbrella of tech. Star 6ix9ine, sure, but Jimmy's Room.
Yeah.
Jimmy's Room is the only thing that dated this movie for me.
I should mention that we did grow up with kids that were like that. If you get a Dustin and a Jeremy,
Yeah.
the video
recording
camera
every,
kids,
yep.
yes, we had those friends.
Yep. We did, and I think we knew plenty of both of the types of girls that are portrayed in
Oh,
this movie.
definitely. Dated
Yep.
them all.
Yep.
We have a very healthy relationship.
I see.
I see.
Some excellent awkward moments there.
Yeah.
And just more, I don't know, more to make you fall in love with Kevin Spacey. I mean, he just rules the room in that scene.
He rules the room in every scene, isn't it? It's
The I don't give a fuckery of it all. It's just great.
and again, and it doesn't take away any of his acting. If anything, it would add to his acting. This movie is almost hard with the clips because there's so many little mini gestures, and like his facial expression when he said that line, like it's just like eat shit. I don't give a fuck. And you lose that in the audio, but I'm pretty sure most people have probably already seen it. So you can, if you've seen it enough, especially you, like I know with you, every time I play a clip, you can see the scene in your head. Mm-hmm. So, and having just watched it today, I'm the same. But yeah, there's a lot, once you remove that visuality of it, there's a lot that's lost. Let's go with the next clip.
Honey, this is Ricky.
I've been calling him Jimmy the whole time.
Is it Ricky? Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm Ricky
I've been
Fitz.
calling him
I just
Jimmy
moved
the
in
whole
the
time.
house
What a
next to you.
dumbass. Ricky, not Jimmy.
Yeah.
Jimmy Fitz.
Well, see, I only called him Jimmy.
Do I know a Jimmy Fitz? Huh. Anyway, Ricky. Jimmy, Ricky. Hey!
My
Ricky,
God.
Tony, Todd. I was going to beat
Tony
Kyle.
Todd?
Yeah.
Candyman?
Yeah. Yeah. They're going to kick Kyle's ass any day of the week.
So that was just another one of those scenes that was pretty fun. They were getting high behind the restaurant.
Yeah.
The laughing breakdown. Again, just Spacey stealing the scene.
Yeah, I was thinking about that scene on the way here today. And, yeah, see?
Everyone knows that he'll sell you Guns N' Roses tickets.
Black t-shirt out behind the mall. Fucking guy.
God. Jane, what is it? It says Psycho next door. Jane, what if he worships you? What if
What if
So-
he worships you?
Funny story about that comment with
Sure.
Jimmy Fitz. Totally unrelated, but it made me think. So my grandfather just died recently, but a few years ago, I mean, most of my childhood, he would go to Cape Cod and winter there. But as he got older, he started having me and my cousins drive him because he couldn't go himself. So we would drive down and fly back. Now, my cousin Brad took him 1 year before I did and stayed with him for a month down there. And Brad, he likes to smoke dope, you know. So he was looking for some weed while he was there. And he met the proverbial Jimmy Fitz out on the street one night and asked for some grass. Now, I don't know why Brad didn't check, but the guy sold him a literal bag of grass. And I thought it was I thought it was the funniest thing that he didn't bother to look. Like, how did you not notice that? You fool. Like, I don't know. I laughed really hard at that. I just thought it was so fucking stupid.
You have any grass? As a matter of fact, I fucking do.
Fucking Jimmy Fitz, man. Jeez.
What are you doing?
Nothing.
You were masturbating.
I was not.
Yes, you were.
Oh, all right, so shoot me. I was whacking off. That's right, I was choking the bishop, chafing the carrot, you know, saying hi to my monster.
Now, any adult should. I don't know what your ideology is on that, but I think at that point you should fucking know what he's doing and be accepting of it, if not wanting to help.
Well, I think that was the whole point of that scene.
I mean,
was to show that-
I don't have any qualms about my masturbation. I'm not going to do it next to you, but I mean, you know
I
that I,
would,
do
I would
it.
ask that you don't.
You know that I do. I know that you do. They all probably do. Right? Those people that claim that they don't,
I know at least some of them do.
oh, they definitely do.
I mean, Corey is here.
But those that are surprised by it, like that reaction, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you're lying next to somebody in a bed in matrimony, like I don't think that you should be disgusted by that. I don't think that you should necessarily have to.
He'll do it next to you and look you straight in the eye the whole time.
No, I don't like to make eye contact, Corey. I'm not even making eye contact with the camera. Don't you notice that?
Can I tell you a weird moment right now? I
think we're already deep into it.
I don't know why, but when I read that, the first thing I thought of was, okay, so obviously the visual that was put in there was masturbation, right? So somebody sitting there masturbating, but the look that they have in their eye, you know that animated GIF where you have the cat shimmering, shaking, and then it's Shaq, and then the cat, and then Shaq. You don't know what I'm talking about? All right. I have to find it really quick. Everybody in the chat knows what I'm talking about. It's just that Brandon doesn't, because Brandon, Shaq, cat, GIF. Here we go.
Yeah, exactly. They should offer to help. I agree. Shaq cat. No, I've never seen that.
You've never seen that?
No, but where are you going with it? It's ridiculous.
What I'm saying is when he mentions that, that's the look I'm imagining somebody having on their face.
Oh.
The Shaq look.
That is not what I was thinking.
I don't know why I instantly got that, but just that. The cat is wiggling its bum. Yeah, see. No, but Growly, there's one... there's one that has Shaq doing the wriggling and then the cat as well. But anyway, I digress. No, there's a really big blow up that happens right after that, but I didn't want to
I'm
have
watching
like
myself do that in the camera now. That's awful. I don't want to see that. God.
Yeah, I didn't want to capture like a half hour worth of clips, so I think I still think my grand in this movie that married couples only were supposed to have sex with each other and certainly feel some shit.
Self-gratification.
Yeah, no, I could see that. That makes sense. It was taken for granted that married couples are the gift for right, exactly.
I want to look good naked.
All right, so I wish I caught the beginning of that. I didn't. Again,
I like turtles. That's all I heard.
It's like, do you want to lose some weight or do you want to put some muscle on? I want to look good naked. I think it's one of the most telling lines.
It's true. Everybody has body issues, I suppose. I mean, I want to look like Brad Pitt in Snatch.
We'll
watch Snatch.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Yeah, we're gonna watch it. It's
Isn't
one of
that
my
the
favorite
sequel
movies.
to?
No.
Oh no! It was the movie with The Rock that was the sequel to Snatch.
No. Snatch has no sequel. Snatch has a
Then what am I
spin-off TV
thinking
show
of?
with Rupert Grint now, but
There was a movie that was a big movie that The Rock was in the sequel, and it was like the unspoken sequel to the movie. Again, Corey would know. Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Yeah, see? Snatch was the sequel to that.
well, they're both Guy Ritchie movies. I don't know if they're probably in the same universe, but are they actually direct sequels? Yeah.
And Corey, okay. And Corey, what was the movie that had The Rock in it, where he was the gay bodyguard?
I know which one you're talking about.
And that was the sequel to another movie.
That was Get Shorty and Be Cool, I believe.
Yeah, okay. Was that what it was? Get Shorty?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so.
Yeah.
That's a good. I didn't like Be Cool as much as Get Shorty, but
I liked The Rock's character.
Guy Ritchie is my favorite director, so
Right.
we can go through all of those movies. I love all of those movies.
I'm down for whatever.
I do want to do Young Guns at some point. It's an 80s Western with the Brat Pack.
Well, we are going to have to announce what movie we're doing next week at the end of this episode, so
Well,
we'll figure
I was
something.
thinking Young Guns, Clerks, or Snatch. Or Formula 51.
Gladiator.
Or Gladiator. We'll alternate.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I have a whole plethora of things that I want you to watch.
Very cool.
And with that, are we winding down?
No, we got more clips.
All right. I didn't know there was a lull.
Paul's in charge.
I don't know what that was.
I didn't catch it.
Oh,
Balls in charge?
No, I fast forwarded too quickly. The full clip's coming.
Sure of that.
That's what you think.
So there's that.
My job consists of basically masking my contempt for the assholes in charge and at least once a day retiring to the men's room so I can jerk off.
You know, the audio of that almost sounds like a young George Carlin, and it's so fitting.
I can hear that.
Elmore Leonard in the chat room, Corey. Justified. I love that show. And Timothy Elephant, Oily Fant, and the other guy.
Elephant.
Thank you. Yeah. Excellent. Excellent show.
I only know that name because he was in Las Vegas.
The show?
Yeah.
The bodyguard? Or the security
No,
guard?
Elephant.
No, I know, but in the
He
show.
was the main guy.
Was he a security guard in that show?
Yeah. He was.
It was a good show.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah, I went
vaguely.
away after like 2 seasons.
Yeah, it wasn't on very long.
Wasn't he? I think he was the villain in like Die Hard 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was. He was very good in The Crazies. He was good. I don't know about Hitman. He was in Hitman, the first live action.
Yeah.
I never saw
Yeah, he
it,
played
though.
Agent 47.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never saw it either.
Oh, you know what else we should watch is 6 Days, 7 Nights. Harrison Ford.
Oh, yeah?
It's a nice, stupid movie to watch. I like it.
I'll be so happy when the clips are done right. Maybe. Something.
Yes,
Somewhere.
and Heche.
Lester, you're going to spill beer on the couch.
How true to life for you is that scene?
Probably not as true to life as it is for you.
I mean, I'm not trying to be transparent with my life, but I've been down that kind of road a time or two, and like, it's just the antithesis of what it is to be alive, to not be caught up in a moment like that, and be so businesslike with your affection. Just
Right.
Don't worry about the fucking couch.
No, I totally agree. It's yeah, there's a pre and post going on in life right now that it's like night and day in that, and that's what it was, and it's what it no longer is. And it's nice to be able to get caught up in the moment. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just kind of get lost where you don't worry about that. Like, he should have just taken the fucking beer and dumped it on the couch.
He should have. He definitely. Damn.
That's your lock
He
screen.
definitely should have. I don't know. He already threw the asparagus against the wall, but I totally agree with you that he should have done that. Who the fuck doesn't know that?
The guy that takes five days to download Path of
give
Exile.
me a fucking break, man.
Anyway. But yeah, Corey's the one. You know, Corey, man, I love you, dude, but I can see that.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess I'm a little bit surprised by that.
Really? No, I could just see, not that, like, because
I don't know. I mean, I only have this for my vision of him, and it's very Wilson with a microphone. Like, I just imagine he is the height of wisdom. So he's a master Jedi. He's not going to get caught up in the small things. He knows better.
Well, I don't mean so much that, but I mean, so when I see that, right? So what I take from that scene is they've lost the passion, and the reason that I take that from that scene is because there was no passion, because there was no moment to get caught up in. Like
There could have been if she hadn't pulled them out of it.
Right, exactly. But that was the point: is he was caught up in it and she wasn't, and like oh no, you're gonna spill the beer. Like, if you are in,
it's just a couch.
It's not even the couch.
It's a shame to be in two different places like that, on two totally different wavelengths. I need to buy a chair that doesn't creak.
Yeah.
My butt's sweaty. I'm sorry. It's hot in here. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna go to the next clip.
Remember those posters that said, "Today is the first day of the rest of your life"? Well, that's true of every day except one. The day you died.
So for me, in that scene, what I took away from it most was the song "The Secret" by The Who. I was a fan of The Who when that movie came out, but it was a very fair weather thing. Like, I didn't dive deeper into The Who until I heard that song.
Right.
And that song gave me so many other classics that weren't radio Who. So that's what I get out of it, and
There we go. We're up over an hour. I'm just going to kind of barrel roll through these next ones because there is like the big scene between Ricky and the father.
Mm-hmm. Like smiley sauce with that?
Lester, just stop it.
No. You don't get to tell me what to do. Ever again.
Fuck yeah.
All right. Now, I am going to say something right there really quick before the next one comes up. That is one of the best moments anyone will ever experience.
Yeah.
Like just breaking off the chains.
Yeah, to be completely right and justified.
Yeah.
You were watching me?
There we go.
What did he make you do?
Dad, you don't really think me and Mr.
Don't
Burnham...
you laugh at me! I will not sit back and watch my only son become a cocksucker.
Jesus, what is it with you?
I swear to God, I'll throw you out of this house and never look at you again.
You mean that?
You damn straight I do. I'd rather you were dead than be a fucking faggot.
You're right. I suck dick for money.
Boy, don't start.
$2,000, I'm that good.
Get out!
And you should see me fuck. I'm the best piece of ass in 3 states.
Get out!
It's funny, the moment of fuck it, and he just plays into all of his father's assumptions. But then to watch the father react like it's physical pain as he says all of those things.
Right.
God, to be that closed off. Shameful.
Now, I had made the comment in the top of the talking about, I won't say the top of the episode because we did the news, but like in the top of talking about the movie where I was like, the closeted father. And then you had made the comment about how when there was the scene with Kevin Spacey, he was trying to experience. How did you phrase it?
I don't remember.
It was like what his son was going through or his son's mindset.
Right.
So.
Trying to identify with him?
Yeah, there you go. So what was...
I don't even know if that's the right...
Well, I was going to say, what was your takeaway? Like, was your takeaway, like, is his father a homosexual?
I don't think so. I think his father's just so out of touch, he just didn't know how to react.
Right.
But, I mean...
Because that is something that... And again, you talk about having it in modern times when you get the big... Either the big religious or the big political leaders that stands... Like, usually the stronger you stand against...
Right.
Homosexuality or drug abuse, the more you're doing it behind the scenes.
Right. And I figured you were alluding to that. And that very well may be the case. I thought that he was just, an anachronism and just the Nazi plate. I thought that was very telling of his personality. Just completely out of the 50s,
Yeah, but is that not also part of it? Because, again... Going back to that, the more you preach against it, the more you are it. Like, that was the big reveal there with Hitler, was that there was Judaism in his bloodline.
Right. And again, like, I'm not disagreeing with you. I don't know. I don't know. I see where you're coming from. I don't disagree with that thought. I don't know. I would need more from the movie, but you definitely could look at it like that. I mean, right. I'm sure a lot of people do. It makes sense.
All right. So I think... Let's see what we've got left here. I got that one clip you wanted me to capture.
Yeah, and I basically just wanted you to capture. I talked about it at the top of the show. That was the line for the movie for me.
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
Both my wife and daughter think I'm this gigantic loser. And they're right. I have lost something. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I know I didn't always feel this sedated. But you know what? It's never too late to get it back. Hello, this is Lester Burnham from...
Yeah, so that was the line in the movie that I identified with most. The very tail end of it seems like it could be on one of those motivational posters, though. But again, like, I am nothing if not self-deprecating, and I do feel sedate. I feel like at one point I was funnier and more upbeat and jovial, and now I'm just monotone and grumpy. Sir? Yeah, you're right. You agree with me.
I'm not going to disagree. I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm not saying you're wrong.
No, it's true.
I
don't know
where
what
you're coming
happened.
from.
I wasn't like that back in the day, was I? What happened? Was I always like that? Do I see myself through, like, rose-colored glasses?
No, I don't think so. I think what it was... Okay, so really quick, and we'll get ready to wrap up here, but remember the concert last summer? And the sun beating down on you, and you said you were, like, that close. And if it was, like, high school... If we were in high school, it would have been a fight. Or at least it would have been...
I wouldn't have fought you in high school.
Well, no. I'm just saying, if you were in the mindset of high school... Like, if you didn't have the self-control as an adult, like, you were at that point of... Because of, like, the overexhaustion...
I was poisoned by the sun.
Right. So, I think what it is so...
I have the ginge, man.
A tinge of the ginge?
Yeah, I can't help it.
So, I think if you have your two extremes, right? You have your very funny, very energetic, very loud, very hyper, and you have your very angry, very bitter, very whatever. If you have those ends, I think it either expands or it retracts uniformly. So I think in order to calm one side of it, the other side of it naturally gets calmed with it. Mm-hmm. And you bring yourself almost back to a center. Now, whether that center has more of one or the other, or just like a nullified level of both. But I think when you as one lessens, so does the other. It's almost kind of like that teetering level of...
the theme for the show is that the tide rolls in and out.
Right.
So if you had a preference, which one would you take? Me of 15 years ago or me now?
I don't really...
You don't take that much time to consider my personality, right?
No, because you're you.
Because you don't give a fuck.
Because you're you.
Yeah.
Well, no, exactly. I don't care, but I don't care in that sense that...
I am Brandon. I just am.
You just are.
It's like Jesus take the wheel, man. On the seventh day, I just was. I don't know my Christianity. I don't know how that goes, but again, like this goes back to what I was saying before about like being judgmental and like letting people live. Like I don't expect you to waste any extra time thinking about what the fuck's going on with me, but
right.
Just a question. Just a
Yeah.
question. I mean, I don't waste much time thinking about you either.
I don't either. I just am.
I like you. That's fine.
There we go. People like me. That's enough for me. So that will be it for episode 1 of Movie Busters. I appreciate you guys hanging out and chatting along. A big thank you, as always, to the IG Studios fan base and chat room that hung out with us in the chat tonight. We got our regulars there. We've got Miss Amy, Mr. Corey, Christina, Mr. Growly Bear. I know Hugo was in and out of there for a while, but it's Sunday night.
Everybody gets a real name, and then you have Growly Bear as the screen name. I just imagine he's in a furry suit watching it at home.
The Growly Bear. I have. You know what? I'm not going to be rude to Growly Bear. I have him on Facebook.
I think we just leave him in I can't think of the word. Let it be vague.
Let it be vague.
He's just there with a big Ted suit on. Big teddy bear ears looking at us. You know what else we should watch is Frank.
I'm not familiar.
Well, we'll watch it.
No, you know what we should watch is we should watch Drop Dead Fred.
After the show, I have a comment.
All right. So next week, pending still? We got to see what's streaming because I don't want to announce something and have it not be streaming.
I mean, I have a whole bunch of movies. I have no shortage of movies to watch. But if we can find Gladiator, we'll do Gladiator.
All right. So if you follow us on Twitter at Movie Busters Pod, or if you look up Movie Busters on Facebook, then you can we'll announce there what movie we're doing next. Or if you have a suggestion, you can tweet us on there, or you can email us at moviebusterspodcast@gmail.com. But I think that'll do it for our talk about American Beauty.
Yeah, it was fun. Thanks for tuning in.
If you have any comments about American Beauty or our interpretation of it, again, Twitter or email, best way to contact us, and maybe you'll get mentioned on the show. But again, that'll do it. You can catch this show, Movie Busters, live Sunday nights at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time at twitch.tv/AintGeekStudios. Again, a big thank you to the live chat room. If you like this show and everything else provided at Inked Geek Studios, please consider going to patreon.com/IG Studios. As little as $1 a month helps support this and other great shows. Well, that'll do it. So for Brandon, for myself, usually there's a third person. I have to for the chat room, for Brandon and for myself, and for the rest of IG Studios. Thank you all very much for listening, and we'll talk to you next week. Let's see if this works.
Good morning, Vietnam!
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.